Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. Thanks to Pauline, Amanda, and Nicole for presenting last week's webinar while I was away at a specialist appointment. This week, I'm joined by Nicole. Hi, Nicole. She's on mute. And Martina to provide an update. Hey, Nicole.
Hello.
Of course, since last week, the various state government leaders have made new announcements that some services can reopen sooner than expected. So I know many of you will be waiting to hear details on what this means for the Y. As well as this, we're going to cover off the safety expectations and protocols for you, our staff, when returning to work, information on the support we're going to give to you for returning to work after up to 10 weeks of time away from the business due to COVID-19, and a quick virtual Y update. As usual, we will answer all your questions once we've provided, or as many questions as possible, once we've provided our update, so please use the Q&A function. I'm sure many of you will have seen the announcements from our premiers and senior government leaders in the recent week. Daniel Andrews in Victoria has made, as well as Stephen Marshall in South Australia and other state leaders, have been announcing restriction easing plans. For example, in Victoria, this will be from Monday, June 1, next Monday, and again from the 22nd of June. This is exciting news, and many of you will be wondering what it means for our sites. It goes without saying we're really excited to reopen our facilities in line with easing of government restrictions. We've been missing our customers, we've missed our communities at the Y across Australia, and we've missed you. From the 1st of June in Victoria, it was announced that skate parks, outdoor sport courts and pools for lap swimming can reopen. And as you know, in South Australia, SALC have been open for the last 4 weeks. Since this announcement, we've been working with councils on when they would like us to reopen and provide services. While as an organisation we are ready, we must consider safety, equity of access and commercial viability before reopening. And these are things that we've been talking about with the councils, and they need to take that into consideration in deciding on the best time to reopen. So in line with the Victorian Premier's announcement, we will be opening Y-managed outdoor sport courts. So that's for casual bookings. So that includes things like tennis courts, outdoor basketball and netball courts, where we also know that the skate parks have already been opened by councils, but will not necessarily be staffed by the Y. So look, hot off the press, we now know that Riverslide will be open, and they're going to open tomorrow with our Y staff, which is fabulous. If you're required to return to work for any of these services, your manager will have already reached out to you in order to give you the 3 days notice. So regarding lap swimming, the government has announced pools can reopen with 20-person limit per pool and 3 per lane. However, change rooms are to be closed with the expectation that visitors shower first at home, head to the pool, swim, then jump back in their car, drive home and shower there. Of course, toilets will be available for our customers. All saunas and spas will remain closed at this point. As I mentioned in my email earlier this week, despite the Premier's announcement, it was likely our pools will reopen at different times. And as the week has progressed, this has actually proven to be true. So I can now confirm that the only Y-managed pool that will reopen on Monday is South Gippsland Splash, and that's going to be at reduced hours and capacity. Staff at South Gippsland Splash who are required to return to work on Monday will have been communicated with directly by their manager. We are really well prepared to reopen, particularly due to our learnings and experience reopening the South Australian Aquatic Centre a few weeks ago to great success. In order to meet the government's restrictions, like we implemented at SALC, a booking system will be in place for all reopened recreation centres. This will include South Gippsland Splash. So when visitors can book, so what this means is visitors can book a lane and time in advance. And this gives our patrons certainty that they will get a lane. And it's proven to be really successful in South, where we've already booked nearly 3,000 lane bookings. It also means that we can enforce capacity limits, as well as record all visitors to the pool so that we have their details for potential COVID-19 tracing. As for other recreation centres we manage, we are still in the process of working with councils to determine the date for reopening our pools. As soon as we have this information confirmed, it will be communicated with you. Now, I do want to say that not opening on the 1st of June on Monday doesn't necessarily mean that the facility will wait until the 22nd of June. Some councils are considering opening before this date. But please note that when we absolutely know what that date is and have firmed it up with the councils, we're going to progressively publish that on our emergency.ymca.org.au website. We're really excited that more of our services are beginning to reopen and to see our customers and communities being able to thrive again. Our digital communications team are working hard behind the scenes to update all customer websites and social media with updates as soon as possible. We will also be emailing all recreation members by the end of the week to let them know current reopening details for their centre. So speaking of our customers, we know from research in the last couple of weeks that while they can't wait to return to our facilities and see you again, our customers have very high expectations on how you, our staff, in centre will manage and enforce social distancing and hygiene practices. I'm now going to hand over to Nicole, who's going to take you through the requirements that you will have to adhere to in the new COVID-safe environment. Nicole.
Thanks, Carolyn. As we begin to reopen more services and facilities, it's important to remind ourselves that safety is everyone's responsibility. This has always been the case at the Y, and during COVID-19, this has not changed. The only thing that has changed is the way that we practice safety. The following slides demonstrate some of the COVID safety work that has been occurring on a site-to-site basis and provide some examples of how things are going to look from a safety perspective when you begin to return to work. This slide shows our 6 COVID-safe commitments: temperature scanning, social distancing, signage and instruction, increased hygiene and cleaning, training for staff, and our 8-step process for a confirmed case. These commitments are being shared with our customers and the public to ensure you and our visitors feel confident that we are not only taking this extremely seriously, but that everyone will be safe at our facilities. The next slide provides an example of the social distancing preparation we are taking. As you can see, each facility must document the total person capacity allowed in each room or area based on the government restrictions at the time. This is currently calculated based on the 4 metres squared requirement. The next slide is an example of how we are ensuring COVID safety for a specific service or program. This slide is an example for aquatics, which breaks this service into lap swimming, swimming lessons, spas and saunas, water slides and inflatables, warm water pool and outdoor pools, and outlines the current government restrictions and Y Victoria's strategies to ensure a COVID-safe environment. The last slide shows the COVID-safe implementation sign-off process. This is for site-specific sign-offs on a number of actions, which ensures the facility has taken all the necessary steps required to ensure it is COVID safe. As you can see, each implementation action has a date and manager sign-off requirement. These actions are also required to be logged within INX. This allows for assurance activities to take place by the health and safety team and ensure COVID-safe implementation. As has always been the case when we're at work, we all have the responsibility to practice proper hygiene, which includes regular hand washing, hand sanitizer, and sneezing or coughing into your elbow. We all have a responsibility not to come to work if we are unwell or experiencing any symptoms associated with coronavirus. If you do come to work with symptoms, you will be sent home again. We've heard from otherwise who have reopened facilities, for example, in the Northern Territory, that they have been audited by the Department of Health since reopening. I anticipate that the same will occur for our own facilities. Rest assured, as we have witnessed from otherwise across the country, including in the Northern Territory and South Australia, that our facilities are successfully delivering COVID-safe services to an extremely high standard that we should all be proud of. I'll now hand over to you, Martina.
Thanks, Nicole, and hello, everybody. You might have heard recently people have begun referring to coming out of the COVID bubble. And this is something that the people and culture team have been focusing on too, as we want to ensure that managers and staff are set up with the information and tools they need to ensure that the transition back to the workplace is as smooth and as comfortable as possible. Many of you have been at home for up to 10 weeks now, and we understand that the idea of beginning to return to the new normal may be overwhelming. Some of us have not been used to having so much unplanned time off work. And while we've become used to not having to leave the house and go to work, dress up and pack our lunch and factoring in commute times, many of us will soon be returning to new routines, and it might take some time to get used to. The P&C team, as recently as this morning, have been talking to managers to assist them in how to manage what may be a difficult time for some of us, and are being provided with tools and training to help themselves and their staff come out of the COVID bubble in a supportive environment. Please remember that when you are stood up, your line manager will contact you, talk to you about the hours you'll be working, the duties you'll be responsible for, as well as providing you with your written stand-up letter. This will assist you to have a full understanding of what will be happening in your workplace. Prior to commencing work, as previously mentioned, all staff will be required to complete COVID safety training. This is to ensure that everybody's safety, that of our staff, our customers, and the whole community. Once you've done this training, it does not mean that you will be stood up straight away. It will mean you are ready to be stood up. You will still need to be provided with your stand-up letter from your manager. Over the next couple of weeks, all staff will be communicated with regarding the COVID safe training and what they need to do. And this will include staff that have been working but in a remote environment. We look forward to all of you returning to work as soon as possible in the safest possible way. So now, Carolyn, I'll hand it back to you, but we're opening straight up for questions.
Okay, fantastic. We've got 8 questions at the moment, so hopefully we'll get through those unless there's a few more that come. Please don't raise your hand because I'm not sure how to deal with that, so please ask a question, okay? I'm sorry that I'm not technically able to do that. There's quite a lot of questions, and to be honest, this is a really important topic for us at the moment about Learn to Swim. So we've got questions like, what does this mean for King's Swim? What does this mean for King's Swim Queensland? What does this mean for Learn to Swim? So I'm going to answer them all sort of at once. At this stage, we are seeking exemptions around Learn to Swim in line with early learning centres. So in line with the education, I guess, social distancing restrictions so that we can actually open. We've got we've got ARV, our other peak bodies, Life Saving Victoria, even our competitors, all on the same page that we want to be able to reopen Learn to Swim. At this stage, we've got ministers that we're going and seeing, and we're going to also see the Chief Health Officer around this, because we really want to advocate that Learn to Swim, if there's going to be one exception to social distancing, it needs to be Learn to Swim so that we don't face the same issues that we have faced, that you know, Florida has faced, for example, around drownings, etc. So we're advocating very, very hard for that. At this stage, we don't have timeframes around it though. And we really can't open until we get those timeframes. We will have a look at how we can support with social distancing, perhaps squads, etc. So we will be working through that. So you can rest assured we'll be doing that work as well. But Learn to Swim is a little bit problematic for us. Okay, that sort of covers quite a few of the questions. Okay, next one. I'd like to know when my creche may open at Northcote YMCA. Love that one. So that's me again. So vacation care and creche, in particular vacation care, we are working to try to get that up and running so that we can help our customers. We have been working with each of the councils around that. So you will be seeing that on our emergency website as to whether that is a go or not a go. And you obviously, like Martina has been talking about, and like Nicole has been talking about, you will be given 3 days notice and you will be trained in the new processes if we are able to open up those services. So you'll be hearing that very, very soon. Okay, so do you expect most sites will be open and running to the new requirements by the 22nd of June? Look, really good question. Geez, these are all for me at the moment. So yes, we are working very hard with our councils to work out what that date is. I think most of the councils at this point have indicated that the 22nd of June is the date. However, we do still have to provide them with all the information with regard to, you know, equity of service, making sure everybody can get into the service, making sure that they're satisfied with our safety standards, which I think are at the highest level of safety standards that I have seen. Nicole and her team have done a fantastic job with regard to that. And also the commercial viability for each of our councils. So we're basically working through that at the moment. Okay, that was that one. Practically speaking, should we expect to see screens and other physical changes in our sites? Will this be standard for all sites or vary across different sites? Nicole?
Yes, we will see changes within our sites. So you will see changes such as decals on floors to ensure social distancing. Sneeze screens have been ordered. Changes will be based on risk assessments for various sites, and these physical changes will be implemented based on the risks that are present within our sites. So, for example, 4 metre squared changes in terms of the social distancing for specific spaces, as I talked about previously. And as I said, decals, sneeze screens, etc. Temperature checks, these are the types of changes that you will see within all of our sites and areas.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we get JobKeeper payments if we are stood up, Martina?
Yes, absolutely you do, up to the value of the $1,500 per fortnight. So if you are working less than the $1,500 a fortnight, you would still get topped up to the $1,500 a fortnight. If you're working more hours than that, you don't get the JobKeeper on top of what would be your standard wage. So up to the $1,500, yes, and then hopefully over a very short period of time, we'll be able to bring people back for more than the JobKeeper hours.
Fantastic, Martina. And just on that, the JobKeeper is a wage subsidy scheme. It is there to attempt to try to get people back to work and to get you all back to work. So to the extent that we will be receiving that JobKeeper, that is about making sure that it is now a stimulus package that will cover the fact that when we first open, we will no doubt be making quite heavy losses, as will the councils. So it is going to enable us to get back up and running sooner. So it does mean that a June 22nd becomes more viable commercially for us with that JobKeeper. So it is a fantastic stimulus package for us. Okay, next one, it's mine again. When will indoor basketball stadiums be open for hire? Okay, so just like I've been speaking, I think June 22nd is what we're working towards, but obviously we need to work with all of our councils with regard to that because they need to make sure that it's viable, and we need to make sure that we are complying with all the get back to play safety procedures that each one of our individual, Basketball Victoria, Netball Victoria are creating for us. So we're gathering all of those return to play safety procedures and ensuring that at a minimum we are covering that off in our safety procedures at the moment. So Nicole and her team are doing a great job with regard to that. I am also advocating for it all to be harmonised. So this is not a difficult process for us to do or for you to administer. And I'm very confident that we will get that way by June 22nd. Next one, will toilets be available if change rooms are closed? Absolutely. We were joking that we don't want anybody not using the toilets. So yes, that is an absolute must, and they will be opened, of course. If you are on JobKeeper, Martina, and become sick, is time taken from your sick days, or will you be paid JobKeeper?
No, if you are back at work and you are sick, then that would come from your sick leave balance. The JobKeeper, as Carolyn said, is there to provide a way for us to keep everybody working and to keep everybody available to be stood up for work. So once you're back at work, the same processes as normal would apply.
Okay, thanks, Martina. The next one is, there's a couple on, is there anything on camps yet? Look, there isn't anything on camps just yet. What we don't know from the Department of Education, because they haven't gone back to school yet, is as to whether they're going to allow excursions. Until they allow excursions, it's going to be really difficult for us to be booking camps. So we are keeping well abreast of what's going on there, but I'm sorry, I can't answer that question for you just yet. Okay, this was basketball stadiums, so we've done that one. Basketball stadiums again. Okay, is COVID safe training available now online? Martina?
It will be shortly. We're sending out information to everyone, so everyone will get that link to be able to do the training. So watch out for it.
Okay. Look, there is another Learn to Swim one. Look, this is a really big issue for us. So it does ask, when will it be back by the time JobKeeper ends in September? I certainly hope so. So we are advocating absolutely, and me personally, including hours and hours of advocation to try to get that back up and running. Another one where we still get JobKeeper restored up. We've done that one. Okay, so gyms, group fitness classes, land-based and water workouts will commence on 22nd of June. I'm still not going to tell you definitively that they all will. We are working through that with the councils. And of course, even on the 22nd of June in Victoria, what we have to understand is that we are only going to be able to have 20 people per space. And so we're working through how does that actually work for us. So there is still a lot to work through, but as you can see by the amazing materials that both Martina and Nicole have presented, we are working fast. So we're trying to get through things as fast as we possibly can. Okay, if you work in the back office areas, will we be required to work from home if we can? Martina?
It will depend on the situation and the site. If there is no need for you to come into the office and all of the work can be done from home, then yes, that's what the discussion will be with your manager about doing that work. There may be some situations where if it is at a recreation centre that is opened, there may be a requirement for you to be there. But generally speaking, if you're a support back office person and the work can be done off-site, that's what we'll be trying to do.
Fantastic. I think these next two questions are for you, Martina, as well. Will staff be adequately compensated for extra work they will have to do, e.g. cleaning and security?
So I think the answer to that is yes. Staff will be paid for the work that they need to do. So if you're there for extra time because you need to do security or cleaning work, of course that would be taken into consideration. However, what we are doing is, and this is where our health and safety team have been working so closely with the sites, we're making sure that this is all built into the routine of opening and that these cleans are done as part of a normal roster. So yes to the answer, but we are working really hard to make sure that it's all done so that staff know exactly what they need to do and when they need to do it.
Absolutely. We always pay our staff for the hours that you work, Martina, so that's spot on. Will staff that are not receiving JobKeeper be considered for stand-up at the same time as those that are on it, Martina?
It will depend on the role and what work that they're doing. As Carolyn said, we are using the JobKeeper to try and mitigate as much of the situation we've found ourselves in with our sites closed down. And so as we come back to work, there will be opportunities for JobKeeper staff, but there may be opportunities for other staff as well. It will depend on the centre. It will depend on what the work is that needs to be done. And we also don't know yet how many patrons are going to come back through the door when we first reopen. So we need to look at all of those commercial viability considerations as part of this. But the fact that you're not on JobKeeper doesn't mean that you are excluded from coming back to work.
Okay, fantastic. We've got time for one more question. This one's a very specific one. Will Melbourne Polytechnic Gym have a booking system for patrons to book times? And yes, we are working through the booking system to be across all of our different services. So whether it's gym, whether it's group fitness, whether it is lane swimming, squads, etc., we are working very hard at the moment behind the scenes to ensure that booking system is up and running. It is a system called Nabuki, and it is up and running with great success in Salk. And I think the beauty of it is that it gives our customers certainty around whether they will be able to come and actually use the facilities. And so I think with everything we're trying to do at the moment, we're trying to give certainty, safety, and both to you and to our customers. So it has been a fantastic innovation, and it also means that it is cashless. So you don't have to accept on casual bookings any cash. That is all predetermined and pre-done. So it does make things a lot more streamlined as well. All right, so there are some more questions, but as always, we will go back to those questions and try to answer those on the emergency website. Thank you for everybody for your time this morning. Before we finish up, I had promised an update on the virtual Y. So I hope that you've been seeing that on the inside the Y that the teams have been busy filming content for Virtual Y at the State Office. The big meeting room in Box Hill has been converted into a studio, as is my office. And the teams are excited to share this online fitness content with you next week. You'll receive an email with the fitness timetable and a link to participate before it's launched to the public. So please watch this space, and what we're looking for is your feedback, hearing your experience and that you've experienced in that programming. So I hope you all enjoy your Friday. Please have a very good weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.